I've been paying very close attention to the voice inside my head lately, and my word, does it have a lot to say. But as I've started to understand what that voice actually is, I've noticed a shift in my life. Things feel lighter, and ultimately, I feel less reactive to situations and, of course, less exhausted. This is going to be a really interesting video because I'm curious to see what might shift for you once you see that voice inside your own mind from a whole new perspective. And honestly, it might explain a lot more than you think. That voice can be your biggest cheerleader, but it can also be your harshest critic. And for many of us, we feel like we spend more time battling with it than actually being supported by it. It's always there, isn't it? Talking, commentating, narrating, winning arguments in the shower that never happened, and replaying something that you said earlier in the day and convincing you that now that person thinks differently of you because of it. And when that kind of mental chatter is running in the background all day, it's no surprise that so many of us feel drained. That inner constant noise takes a lot more from us than we realise. The voice spends most of its time looking for potential problems. It pulls from past experiences and projects them forwards by saying things like, "Don't say that, that could go wrong, you should have done that differently." It's constantly trying to anticipate outcomes, especially uncomfortable ones. And it does this automatically. You don't just sit down and decide to think these things, they just appear. Which is why so many of us assume that voice must be us, because it's immediate, it's familiar and constant. But here's something worth noticing about that. When that inner chatter shows up, you can tell whether it's anxious, critical, or rushed. You can see when it's repeating itself. You can even catch it halfway through a sentence. And that tells us something really important. There's the voice talking, and then there's you listening. They are not the same thing, because if they were, there'll be nothing for us to notice. So what I'm saying is that you are the awareness that sits behind the voice. Ultimately, that inner chatter, that inner voice starts with thoughts. I don't think this is about stopping thoughts or changing thoughts. I think it's about recognizing that you are the one aware of them. And that small shift, noticing instead of automatically believing what that inner chatter says, is where things really start to change. Because a lot of our problems don't actually come from life itself. It comes from believing every story we have about life. And here's the part that really changed things for me. The voice isn't evil. It's not trying to sabotage you, it's protective. It's evolved to keep you alive, not to keep you calm. It scans for risks all the time, and it replays past mistakes so you don't repeat them. And it predicts uncomfortable outcomes so you're prepared. The voice is constantly running simulations. What if this goes wrong? What if I get rejected? What if this is embarrassing? You can see how exhausting that can get. And because it feels so immediate and so familiar, we believe those simulations as reality, but they're not reality. They're possibilities, and usually worst case possibilities. When I started seeing the voice like this, something inside me softened. It was like relief, because instead of me trying to fight it or silence it, I just saw it for what it is, a prediction machine. It's not my identity, it's not the truth about who I am, and it's not a command that I have to follow. It's just part of my brain doing its job. Sometimes that can be really helpful, and other times it can be really dramatic. But we could talk about how unhelpful that voice inside our mind can be all day long, but there's a flip side to it, because that voice is also where your ideas come from. It's how you solve problems, it's how you rehearse what you're going to say, and how you make decisions. And, that's a really important part of being human. The same voice that says, what if this can all go wrong, is the same voice that says, what if this can all go right? And that's why I'm not trying to stop the voice or silence the voice, because ultimately that is pretty impossible. What I'm seeing it as now is that I don't treat every thought equally or urgent or true, because some of the thoughts are really helpful and others obviously not so much. And I think that's the point. I think it's about getting good at noticing which thoughts and chatter is worth engaging with, and what thoughts are just old storage running on autopilot in your mind. And this is where it actually connects to manifesting, because if that voice is constantly coming up with worst case scenarios and we automatically believe it, then we often end up behaving in line with those predictions. The voice says you're not ready, so you don't launch the thing. It says that's unrealistic, so you don't try. Or it says people like you don't get that type of thing, so you kind of play smaller or hesitate or convince yourself to be more realistic. And then we wonder why manifestation doesn't work for us, because the version of ourselves that has all those things that we want wouldn't act in line with those behaviors. So if you're constantly organizing your life around fear-based predictions, then you're never actually moving in the direction of what you want. Manifesting isn't about silencing doubt. It's about not letting doubt decide for you. So it's about noticing that voice that comes up and says, who do you think you are? And choosing to move forward anyway. Because the same mind that predicts failure is also the same mind that can imagine possibility. The difference is which one you choose to engage with. Once you realize the voice is making predictions and not stating facts, you don't have to organize your life around it anymore. The thought still shows up, it doesn't just magically disappear, but something in you is different. So say you walk into a room where the voice says they're judging you. Before, that would have completely shaped how you behaved. You would speak differently, second guess yourself, manage how other people perceived you. But now that you're aware of what the mind is doing, you can say the brain is just predicting rejection. And that awareness itself gives you space to choose differently. The thought can be there without being in charge. That's what changed for me. I didn't silence the voice. I didn't become positive all the time. I just stopped automatically treating like every thought I had was a fact about who I am. And when you stop doing that, something settles. You start taking small risks that you would have avoided before. You bounce back from awkward moments quicker. And you stop spiraling for hours on end from one sentence someone had said. And you also stop turning passing thoughts into permanent identities. So maybe the next time the voice kicks in today, instead of automatically believing what it has to say, notice it, notice the tone, notice the prediction, notice how quickly it tries to convince you. You don't have to fight it and you don't have to agree with it either. Just recognize it for what it is. It's my brain trying to protect me. And when you start doing that, something subtle but really powerful happens. You realize that there is the voice and there is you, and you get to decide what happens next. It doesn't mean life becomes perfect, and it doesn't mean the voice goes away, but you stop confusing the narrator with who you are. And honestly, that shift alone can change a lot more than you expect. I really hope this insight helps you on your journey to becoming your ideal self and manifesting your ideal reality. If you have any questions or you really resonated with this video, then please do let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to hear your thoughts. And quick one from me, if you haven't joined my free manifestation community, then I'd love to have you there. I'd love to invite you. There's hundreds of us there. There's about 400 people in there at the minute. And yeah, you get some good resources like 500 affirmations across 10 areas of your life, a 7-day alignment reset challenge, and loads more. Plus, you'll get to speak to the hundreds of people that are already in there. And we do little like tasks like 24-hour tests the universe to manifest something small. And we share our results. So if that sounds a bit of you, then yeah, we'd love to have you over there. But in terms of YouTube videos, I will see you next week for the next one. Happy manifesting.